Hey, y'all, you're listening to the Chicken Fried Women podcast with me, your host, Melissa Radke, the original recipe. Hi, everyone, and welcome to really what is part 2 of Chicken Fried Women with my best friends, the Golden Girls, and of course, my adorable hunka burning love co-host, Dr. Derek Shepard. He was here the entire time, but he was just loving on Angela. He was learning about Angela. Isn't he so wonderful? Everybody loves him. But if you watched our last or listened to our last podcast, then you will know we got tickled and we started talking a whole lot. And we're back to finish these conversations with my best and longest running childhood friends. I call them the Golden Girls. We have Angela, we have Nicole Tim, we have Kristen and me, and we were in the middle of discussing some things, and we have to get back to it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the last podcast, because this is a part 2. And I had this out because I was having a hot flash. Okay, so you walked in the stairwell and saw her kissing.
I thought we were done talking about
You, on the other hand, have been very judgmental about it.
Yes, I have. And I apologize. Please forgive me, Kristen.
I let you down, Angela.
No, please forgive me. It's not my place to judge. I should not be holding that against you all these years.
Maybe
I'm glad we're getting this out.
Didn't get our first kisses till
True. Yes, that's true. I was probably just jealous. That's probably what it was, Kristen.
Probably.
Okay. I love you.
For sure. For sure. Hey,
We're going to cry.
but I was also saying things that I have always loved about you, and your memory is one of them. And you've always loved my hair, but I've always loved your stick thin body when we were growing up. Well, you know, when we were growing up, you had a stick thin body, and you were a little top heavy, and it really worked out in your favor.
Just out of Josh in the stairwell. It didn't last, though.
What were you
The stick
say?
thin body.
What were you going to say?
About what?
We were in the middle of talking about something. What was it, y'all?
No, it was about to
I
say.
just remembered, and this is a little off topic of the trip, but I just remember because we grew up going to church together and we went to youth group. But what I was thinking of is the slop parties. Do y'all remember the slop parties and the hay rides and all?
People would let people do that today.
I just remember how much fun that was.
I literally told my kids,
I aspirated flour.
y'all,
They gave us pie plates full of flour and made us all put our faces in the same compliment and try to fish out lifesavers with our tongue. That was the most fun. Aspirated flour. They did lock-ins and all kinds of
research on these games.
So that's the thing, like here in 2025, could you even have a lock-in nowadays with kids? Or would they just be sexing it up? Kristen, we'll ask you.
I did not sex it up until I got married.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. Okay.
I was working against it.
The things that they allowed us to do, they would never allow nowadays. It's absolutely crazy. Okay. We were all going with memories that we have, and I have a very funny one, but we didn't get to you and your memory. Do you have a memory of us?
Okay, well, were you going to tell the one about the Angelina River Bridge incident?
I was, but if you want to, please. Because I have another one. I was going to share too. So go for it.
Okay. So,
You have to start with how we were Dry County. Go ahead.
okay. We were a dry county. This would have been when we were what?
I was driving. So
18? No, y'all would have been 16, 17.
I had my Honda
You tell me it was the red Honda Prelude.
Yeah, we were driving. We were
So
16 minimum.
16, I say 16 minimum.
Okay.
But
So let's say 17.
Probably. Yeah.
We drove to Nacogdoches, which is what we would do when we wanted to live it up.
Eat fancy.
Yeah.
Eat fancy.
Get out of town.
Go to, what was it called? The Californians.
Oh,
The
remember what I got here?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right.
Or La Hacienda.
Oh, Hacienda.
That was my favorite.
Graduation party.
That's right. And that's where
So
Margaret made those chocolate pie roll-up deals. You know?
You have talked about those for 42 years.
They were so good.
It wasn't 42, but
Well, I graduated in 92, so Kristen, you've been talking about those for a long time.
They must have been really good.
They were
She swears that it was a pie crust. Like if
type dough.
like type dough. So imagine if you got a frozen pie crust and you let it kind of fall and then you just rolled it kind of flat. And then she said there was a chocolate concoction that Margaret put in them, and then she
and it was
rolled
like
them up.
chocolate and sugar, and it was rolled up and sliced like little pinwheels.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Let's just call her today and get it, and we'll make it maybe later.
Yeah. So I don't really know what we went over there for. In my mind, we went to see The Bodyguard.
In my
The movie with Kevin Costner and Whitney
Yes.
Houston. Okay.
Is that the one?
yeah, I slap you for even asking that question.
And we were driving back, and Melissa was thirsty.
Well, pardon the chubby girl for needing a drink.
You wanted a knee-high peach.
I did wrong about.
And so we stopped, I don't know why, at a liquor store.
Well, it was across the river, right where
Yeah,
all the liquor.
Yes, it was right before you get to the bridge, and
And let me just say, if we said to our parents, "Hey, I'm going out with the girls tonight," my parents always knew who the girls were. But then they would say, "Where are y'all going?" And then what you would say is, "We're going across the river." You wouldn't even say Knack.
because they were wet.
Because-
across the river was
Exactly.
County.
Because Knack is obviously they knew where we were going, but we were going across the river. So you would just say that. That's what being raised in these backwards is like. So I had said that, we're going across the river. Y'all don't stop nowhere where they sell that alcohol. I mean,
and my mother would say, be very careful driving.
Wear your seatbelt.
Your great uncle drove off the Angelina River Bridge. And there's lots of drunks.
may he rest.
May he rest.
May he rest.
Anyway, I don't even know if it was my
Y'all,
great
we have
uncle.
started eliminating our text messages, and it's my favorite thing because for some reason people our age are dropping like flies. And so the other day I said, "Y'all are not going to believe who my mom and Aunt Melba started talking about at the Chinese buffet." And they said, "Who?" And I said, "What's his name?"
I don't know. Was it?
Lemoyne. Well, he's not going to listen to this. And
Well, maybe his nearest and dearest are listening.
so I said, they were talking about Lemoyne, and I found Lemoyne on Facebook. But just as I found Lemoyne, he died. May he rest. And then
May-
Kristen said,
May he rest.
May he rest.
"May he rest." And we do it all the time because everybody's died. Back to your story.
So we stopped at I don't know if it was an
like a
actual
gas
legit
station.
liquor store, but it had liquor,
Convenience
which was for me, a no-no. You didn't stop at stores that sold that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And you didn't hang with girls that did.
So we get to the gas station, we stop, and Melissa goes in,
For my knee-high peach.
and Angela, Nikki, and I were still in the car. We're sitting and waiting. We're sitting and waiting. And these two big guys come out.
Of the store.
And we were probably a little skittish.
No.
And so I remember going like, lock the door, lock the door, lock the door.
Which is so awkward back then because your car went. When you locked the door.
You had to reach up and go, and they could see you do it. And I remember were like weightlifters, or
Really?
like, and had a weightlifting belt.
Oh, shut up.
Back
And
in those days, people just
it was fashion statement. And so they were uttering what seemed like gibberish at us. We couldn't make it out, but we were terrified.
We're scared to death. Scared to death.
And we might have even been like clinging to each other.
y'all were like this.
And we huddled down together. And we could make out something like, I'm fixing to knock your teeth out. And of course, I can just see us like with our smiles plastered, shaking. What did he say? And so they said it again and gestured towards the store.
Yeah.
Fixing to knock your teeth out.
I'm fixing to knock your teeth out. So wait, I'll let you pick it up here of what was actually going on inside the store. 'Cause I wasn't in there.
Here's what was going on inside the store. I had that knee high peak, but they didn't have it. They did, however, have a knee high blue, but I had never had knee high blue, and I wasn't sure I wanted to spend what was it, 86 on this knee high blue.
Probably less.
So Angela has gone into the store because she has to go to the bathroom. When she's done going to the bathroom, she comes up, and I don't realize she's behind me right as I make the decision, the lethal decision, to unscrew the top, taste it, and if I didn't like it, put the top back. Put it in the case, okay? And so I unscrewed the top. I was very scared because what if somebody caught me? And I just was going to get a little taste. This knee high blue, right as Angela comes up, and she goes like this. Did you like it? And y'all, this glass bottle hit my tooth and broke my front. Half of my front tooth is fake. And it chipped my front tooth and it fell into the glass. I forgot about that. And I said, Angela. And you said, what? I said, you knocked my tooth out. You knocked my tooth. And I got in here, and you went, just sitting in there quietly. So we put it back in the case. We come, that people have seen this apparently, and they've gone out to alert the masses.
But how do they know they were with us?
Well, Nicole.
It was pretty. I think we matched.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't want to. We get out in the car. I'm driving. It's my red Honda Prelude. She's sitting in the front seat. Ange hops in the back of Kristen. When I get in, they look terrified. And this is exactly what Nicole, in her Cajun accent, said. What were you doing? What were you doing in there? You left us out here. You see that? He said, I'm fixing to knock your teeth out.
your tooth out.
I'm fixing to knock your tooth out. And I said, no, he's not going to knock your tooth out. I thought, Angela knocked your tooth out. And then we left it in the bottle. I wish I had that bottle to this day. But that reminds me of the time that the four of us went to a youth convention. We stayed together in a room, and Nicole had been sipping on a Coke in a little glass. This big, that you would have in hotel rooms.
It makes me nauseous.
And she fell asleep. She went to bed. That got all melted down. And I picked that night to clip my toenails in the bed. Because nothing says, hey, what do y'all say we clip our toenails in this hotel room bed? I clipped my toenails. I didn't have anywhere to put them. I was watching TV. All the girls were asleep, and I took my toenails and I put them in that glass, which had that much melted down Coke. The next morning, Nicole wakes up, and she's like, I have got such a bad headache. She finds 2 Tylenol. There's absolutely nothing to drink. This was in the days, they don't give you bottled water back then. She puts those 2 Tylenol in her mouth. She takes that glass. She chugs it down like this. And those Tylenol, they short like this. She said, I guess I got a scratch. I guess I got a scratchy throat. I said, I don't think you do. I don't think your throat hurts.
You can see I still find this story real funny. Just real hilarious.
Hey, did you know that the Chicken Fried Women podcast is being brought to you by my new book, Chicken Fried Women, coming out April 22nd? I have a question for you. Have you pre-ordered it yet? Go to Amazon.com or wherever you buy books and order one for you and your bestie and your mom and your college roommate. You get what I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
What was the story we were telling in there? That was,
I don't know. You said, hey, y'all, do you remember the time that I made y'all watch my 1986?
I keep forgetting that. We had a sleepover in this very room.
In this room. Because this is the house that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And David and I bought it.
And we were probably 14 or 15 years old. And we had come to watch
Anne of Green Gables.
Because it was our favorite.
Because we love to.
It was we were in love with Gilbert.
Yeah. May he rest.
May he rest.
May he rest.
Say you rest.
Anyway, so yeah, we had come here and we were watching that all night, and we had made some little snacks, and we were all sitting down, got our snacks, watching a thing. Well, we finished an episode or a movie or whatever, and they were like, "Well, what do y'all want to do now?" I just happened to bring with me my 1986 family Christmas video.
Like one does, because we remember.
We know we're bringing videos. So I pop it in. Well, I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think it's the best thing. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And these 3 words are like this. I don't know. I don't know, because I thought it was great. I thought you would think it was great. And they promptly got up and left the room.
That wasn't very nice of us.
Yeah, I had nothing else to do, and I stayed and watched.
That was rude.
Is that the one where you and Sheila were singing in hairbrushes?
We were.
It had a lasting impact.
I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston. It was really great.
The fact that you just clarified who sang that song.
Well, me and Andrew sitting together for
If you have been watching us for the last 2 podcasts, I told you at the beginning, we call ourselves the Golden Girls, and that we actually kind of resemble the personality of who it is we are called. So I'm called one of the Golden Girls, and Nicole is, on and on. I'm curious as to if you can guess who is who. I wish we had a poll right now that you could dance on. I was saying that you can take. But who do you think, viewer or listener, would be Rose? Think about it for a second, and then will the real Rose raise her hand? She is our Rose. Why is she our Rose?
because she's so sweet and naive and
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind,
I'm not from
one
St.
of us
Olaf.
doled out the assignments back in, oh gosh,
Long
time ago.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
running errand on
40 years
For real.
ago.
Well, you're saying that would have changed, though?
Well, but I'm saying we've matured.
Yeah, for sure.
she's still Rose.
But Betty White was mature when she played Rose.
That's true. Have y'all seen those things going around that say they were younger than we are right now?
I
Yeah.
know it.
That's a shame.
I reject that out of hand.
Me too. In the name of Jesus.
Nation.
No, I'm not saying you're not like Rose. I'm saying we might have been more
Aligned with
one-dimensional back then.
I gotcha.
Well, but also, I doled out that she would be Rose because, and I don't want to hurt you when I say this, but for a long time, all you told were flagline stories.
This is true. You are not wrong.
They were her stories.
Or my oral surgeries. Because I had several of them. Y'all send me flower upon flower upon flower for my oral surgeries.
It was endless horse. She's got a perfect.
So I do tend to repeat stories. So I own it.
You look great. Beautiful.
I would say,
Yeah.
hey, have you heard the latest about, Karen? And she actually started dating that guy that went to the other school. One time when I was having an oral surgery, Karen walked in.
I've never known why you had to have all of those.
Oh, it's a long story, Kristen. I don't think we have time.
We're actually going to lunch after
I'm
this.
going to let y'all feel.
And I have no doubt she would love to.
Catch you up.
Been waiting.
She'll catch you right up.
She did have a lot of oral surgeries. Okay, so that was why I deemed her Rose.
Yeah.
Would our Dorothy raise her hand? And why do we think she's Dorothy?
I think because she has a dry wit.
Look how she's
That's exactly it. Look at that face. That's
Exactly.
a Dorothy. Like
It's Dorothy right there.
a very dry wit.
Yes, you're very. What's caustic mean?
Oh, that means
What is
corrosive.
Caustic?
It means mean.
That means
Oh, I didn't know that.
erosive.
She said, "What does caustic mean?" And I went, "Mean?" And she went, "What does caustic mean?"
I didn't know what caustic meant. I had no idea. Certainly, she has an answer for everything. And that's not, I don't mean that in a rude way. She's actually very smart. She's probably the smartest out of us. She remembers everything. She's cautious. Remember how Dorothy was always like, Blanche, you're going to want to be careful when you talk.
Yes, that's
She's got, so she's like Dorothy. For
Dorothy
sure.
was a teacher, and she's very intelligent. She used to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So what does caustic mean? So again, what does caustic mean?
Mean.
Well, what does it mean?
She's still giving the
I
answer.
don't think it is. It is mean. It's like
Abrasive.
yeah, abrasive. Like it.
Dorothy wasn't caustic. You're not caustic. I didn't know what that meant. Okay.
I think, I mean, whatever.
Okay. Will the real Blanche raise her hand?
I think I gave you that. I think I did. Yeah.
And you better.
And you got mad because you thought it meant that you were floozy. And I said, no, it's because you're showy and you're you always like to,
And I think everything revolves around me.
and you think everything revolves around you. Yeah. That's also
I don't think that's how she said it. But
No,
I didn't say it that way. No, but I just thought, Blanche was always real, like the not gonna lie,
Of course.
in the room.
center of attention.
Yes, I would agree that I'm definitely the Blanche out of us. These girls have said numerous times, take that hair down a little bit, just calm it down. Oh, look what you're wearing. Okay, well, Melissa wants to, I mean, I have always been that way, very out there. And so it fits me perfectly. But that just leaves America's favorite on that show was Sophia. And you probably have watched this today and wondered why you would be Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
But we can easily tell you why. She's hysterically funny. She can come up with them very, very quickly. And when she was growing up, she's not this way now. Like you said, we've matured. But when she was growing up, she was very Cajun. Her family was very Cajun. They still, her dad, he still talks like this. And her mom too. And so she had that kind of way. How do you explain that?
I don't know.
She was very,
Sophia was from Italy and I was from
you were very freewheeling with your humor and just kind of out there. And so she's always been our Sophia.
And you carried a big purse everywhere.
I still have a big perk.
You do.
I think y'all think I was funnier than I was actually, but
What do you mean?
I don't think I'm as funny. Anyway,
You're not as funny now as you were when you were 16.
Yeah.
Who is? I mean, life has hit us, Nicole. We've
I know.
born into a broken world. All right. I want to close with a memory of us. And I don't want to bring the room down, but I do want to close with this because it is in my book, Chicken Fried Women. There is a whole chapter about this moment. When I got pregnant with Elisha, I obviously called these girls probably first to tell them this don't look good. And they knew I wanted to be pregnant so bad. They knew I wanted to be pregnant so bad that, did you remember offering to be pregnant for me?
mm-hmm.
She had already had 2 children. And she said, I know that nobody in our town would understand this, but if you wanted me to carry a baby for you, I would. And I remembered being very angry at that at the time because she could carry a baby and I couldn't. But later, as I've gotten older, I realized it was probably the most selfless offer anyone has ever made to me. But I got pregnant with Elisha. We knew it wasn't a healthy pregnancy. I called the girls. Elisha came early. When he was born, he came early. So he came on Christmas Day. Obviously, they could not be here. They all had small children. But we buried Elisha on the 27th of December. And even then, getting to Nashville from Texas with no notice on flights was very expensive. Could they drive it? Could they leave their families and their little children and drive 12 hours to be at a memorial service for a child they'd never even met? Probably not. But did they do it? Absolutely. They did. And I don't remember when they got to town because I was exhausted and I was broken and I was leaking. And I had those phantom pains that they tell you about where you feel like you're holding something, but you're not. And we had this memorial service at the church. And I looked over, and there they sat, 3 of them. And they all had on yellow roses pinned to their clothes. And I looked over to my right, and I saw them. And then I looked over to my left, and I saw my closest friends from Nashville sitting there. And they all had on yellow roses. And so one of my Nashville girlfriends, Rhonda, had gone and gotten yellow roses that day to wear because I was the only one in our little Nashville circle that from Texas. I was their yellow rose of Texas. And Rhonda remembered to get it for the Golden Girls.
Okay.
Because she knew what they meant. And so in that moment, I looked around, and it was December 27th, and the sanctuary was almost full of people who had come out to honor this child. But there beside me and David and my mom and dad were these 3 wearing their yellow roses. And they came and they left their kids who were very young and your families. But you wouldn't have missed it.
No.
And it has not always been laughs. We have had very hard conversations, and there have been times when we have gone long periods of time without talking. But boy, when your heart breaks, here we come every time.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Every single time. And now we're really to the age, aren't we? We really don't fight anymore. We know each other too well to fight. Mm-hmm. We love each other too deeply to stay mad. It almost feels like we've put in so much work that this is the retirement age.
The golden
years. And these really are the years that we get to enjoy all the work that we had to put into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want y'all to know that y'all are my yellow roses. Y'all are my golden girls. And I love y'all truly more than my luggage. We love you.
I love you too. I love you. I love you.
So, here is to the chicken fried women in your life. Who are they? Maybe you call them today. Maybe you reach out to them today. Maybe you just remind them of a memory over text. But I promise you, it's worth it because these are the golden years. Till next time.
Thanks so much for being here today, where we get to talk about our friendships and our kinships and the stories that made us this way. Till next time.